Okay.
Let the record show that it is now 11 a.m. on June 17, 2023. I call to order this public hearing conducted by the Maryland Department of Transportation, Maryland Transit Administration, as required by Title VII of the Maryland Transit Article. The Maryland Transit Administration, known as MDOT MTA, is one mode of the Maryland Department of Transportation and one of the largest multimodal transit systems in the United States. MTA operates local bus, metro subway link, light rail link, commuter bus service, MARC train, mobility link, and taxi access service. MTA also directs funding and statewide assistance to locally operated transit systems in each of Maryland's 23 counties in Baltimore City. Good afternoon. I am Bianca Traham, the MDOT MTA's information agent, serving as the hearing officer today. I welcome you to this virtual public hearing and thank you for taking the time to attend. Please note all attendees are in listening only mode. Microphones will be unmuted as each registered participant is called on to speak. Today's virtual public hearing is the last of 5 hearings conducted to accept testimony pertaining to MDOT MTA's proposed changes to CityLink, Local Link, and Express Bus Link bus services. The proposed change will become effective on Sunday, August 27th, 2023. Full details of the proposed service change can be found online at mta.marylandspelledout.gov/fall 2023. The full proposal is also available for public review in the lobby of the William Donald Schaefer Building and the Transit Store, both located at 6 St. Paul Street in Baltimore City. To request a printed copy of the proposed service changes or printed materials in the alternate form or a translated version, please contact the Transit Information Contact Center at 410-539-5000. MDOT MTA is committed to ensuring no individual is excluded from participation in or denying the benefits of its transit service and programs on the basis of race, color, or national origin as protected by Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Media inquiries should be directed to MDOT MTA Office of Communications and Marketing through our main number, 410-539-5000. The procedures for this hearing are as follows. All attendees are in listening only mode. All those registered to provide testimony during this hearing will be called in order, each speaker into the queue. We will call on speakers by first name and last initial or by the last 3 digits of the phone number provided on the registration form. Anyone who has not pre-registered and would like to give testimony still have the opportunity to join the speakers queue. If you join via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature. Another option is to call 301-715-8592 and enter meeting ID 821-758-9612. Then press *9 to be added to the speakers queue. You will be asked to give your full name and zip code for the hearing record. Any individual may speak themselves or, if duly authorized, for any local civil group, organization, club, or association subject to the rules provided herein. If representing a group, its name and address should be provided. Elected officials who have not registered and wish to provide testimony, please use the raise hand feature. Elected officials will be called on first and will have 5 minutes to speak. Individuals providing testimony will have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone representing an organization will have 5 minutes to speak. A brief tone Will sound once to make speakers aware when 60 seconds remain, and a second time when time has ran out. All statements must be related to the subject matter as described in the proposed service changes. The role of the hearing officer is strictly to facilitate the hearing procedures. The hearing officer cannot respond to questions while the hearing is in progress. These proceedings are recorded by a court reporter who will create a transcript of the hearing. Please speak clearly to be recorded correctly. In the event all those who have registered to provide testimony have spoken and there is no one in the speaker's queue, the hearing will go into recess until someone speaks on or into the speaker's queue to testify, or until its time is adjourned. MDOT MTA will accept written statement, additional documents, or literature pertaining to the proposed service changes through Monday, July 17, 2023. Written statements must include a proper name and address to be included in the official hearing record. When written statements or documents may be submitted in the following ways. The first option is via USPS mail to MDOT MTA, Office of Customer and Community Relations, 6 St. Paul Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Another option is to email comments to hearing comments at MDOT, that's MDOT, Maryland spelled out .gov, with written testimony as the subject heading. A third option is visiting mta.maryland spelled out .gov /fall 2023, where you will find a comment form to print and mail, and an electronic comment form to submit directly with the web page. All testimonies will be considered while making final decisions. For the record, notice regarding this public hearings are published in the Baltimore Sun on May 16th and May 23rd, 2023, as well as several other local newspapers. If you wish to review the list of newspapers, please contact the Transit Information Contact Center at 410-539-5000. At this time, I would like to introduce the host of the virtual public hearing, Jennifer Koch, who will call on each speaker.
Good morning. We will now begin to accept testimony. Those who have registered to speak will be called in the order they entered the speaker's queue. And once the speaker has been called on, their microphone will be unmuted. As a reminder, testimony is limited to 3 minutes per individual speaker and 5 minutes for any elected official and anyone representing an organization. A brief tone will alert speakers when 60 seconds remains to speak. At the end of each speaker's allotted time, they'll be asked to conclude their comments. At this time, I'll ask if there are any elected officials present. Please indicate that you'd like to speak by using the raise your hand function on Zoom, or by, if you're on the phone, by selecting *9. At this time, no elected officials have indicated they'd like to speak. So at this time, I will call on those who have registered to provide their statements. Each speaker will be called by name or by the last 3 digits of their phone number. Once called, your microphone will be unmuted and you will have 3 minutes to present testimony. Please remember to begin by saying and spelling your full name and your zip code for the record. Mary L., phone number ending in 409. You are now able to unmute your microphone. You can do that by using *6. Phone number ending in 409. If you'd like to provide testimony, you can unmute yourself by selecting *6 on the phone.
This is Mary Jane Lupus, MaryJaneLupus. In the evening when I get off of work, I take the yellow bus that comes down I catch it on South and Water Street. You want to discontinue that and have it come from Utah Street. Last fall, you discontinued my yellow bus coming from UMBC. So now I have to get the 32 from UMBC, get off on Washington Boulevard and take the yellow bus and get to Gay Street where I get off the bus. In the evening now, if you discontinue this, not coming, down South Street and turning onto Lombard Street, I'm going to have to get 3 buses in the evening and get a bus to go up to Utah Street to catch my yellow bus. And this is, it's just not right. And I really implore you not to have this bus go down Utah Street and still have it come down South Street to go onto Lombard Street. So, that's basically it. And you really don't, there really wasn't much publication showing this. A lot of people don't get the newspaper anymore. There was a couple announcements on the yellow bus infrequently, on the public system, and people aren't just aware this stuff is happening. So you don't think anybody is interested in, protesting this, but, people aren't aware that this is happening. So I really implore you to really keep this yellow line the way it is going now and not change it. So that's basically all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Your microphone will now be muted again. Our next speaker will be Shilpa S. You can now unmute your microphone and provide your testimony.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Shilpa Shenvi. I live in Cockeysville, Maryland, and the route I use most is the local Link 93. I was relieved to see that most of the route has remained intact. I will still get to all the places I use the 93 for. However, I hope that this is the last time that service is cut. We need to make public transportation, including the bus system, more extensive, not less. A much needed step toward reducing vehicle miles traveled is creating conditions that make car ownership unnecessary. Although vehicle electrification is also important in reducing air pollution, including greenhouse gas pollution, it cannot be the only step we take. We do not have sufficient resources to swap out every fossil fuel powered vehicle with an electric equivalent. Furthermore, many Maryland residents cannot afford cars. Not having sufficient reliable access to public transportation limits their job and schooling opportunities. From this point forward, MTA needs to expand bus service and make it reliable. After the current set of proposed changes is made, cutting service should no longer be an option. And I'd like to echo what the previous speaker said. Not enough, this was not advertised well enough. It should have been posted at every bus stop. I first found out about this luckily on a particular bus I had taken into Baltimore. If I had not taken that bus into Baltimore on Memorial Day weekend, I don't know if I would have found out about it, or as early as I did. And, at that point, it wasn't even on every single bus. Advertisement did improve later, but new approaches need to be taken. Maybe, advertising it through Charm Pass or Transit app, or having notifications that way would probably be a better solution than waiting for people to get on the bus, especially again when the advertisement isn't on every single bus. That's about it. Thank you for listening to my testimony.
Thank you for your testimony. If there's other individuals who would like to speak and have not yet done so, please join the speaker queue. You can do that by either pressing *9 if you are calling in, or you can use the raise your hand function on Zoom to indicate that you'd like to speak. The next individual that would like to provide testimony I'll call on is Bakari H. You can now unmute your microphone to provide testimony.
Hello, my name is Bakari Height. I live on Caroline Street, where I'm being affected by the city link line being truncated to Mondawmin. I just wanted to put my testimony out because I just moved here a year and a half ago in what was really a transit-rich area because I had a lot of frequent buses. However, I do commute to DC a lot, as well as to Philadelphia. And getting to Penn Station is really difficult if this route is truncated to a route with less frequent service. And I also would like to point out that there's a lot of students that go to Dunbar that use the CityLink line in the mornings and in the afternoons to commute. So there also will be missing a really important link to get to where they need to go. And I'll also point out of all the development that is happening down at Perkins Homes that still hasn't blossomed yet, as well as with a lot of the growth in Oliver, with a lot of the zero car households that are along this way. So I'm just urging MDOT to really assess whether or not they can really truncate this route, because I've had many issues with catching the buses because they either don't show up or they show up really late. So I really don't know if low ridership is the cause of it, given the fact that half of us can't even get the bus when we really do need it. So yes, I'm just urging MDOT MTA to really reconsider truncating the CityLink line and giving this part of Baltimore another opportunity to really assess of how important this bus is to our communities. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Lark M. You can now unmute your microphone to provide your testimony.
Hi, I use the Brown bus. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you provide your zip code before you begin?
Sure, 21236.
You can go ahead with your testimony.
I use the Brown bus, and I understand that, and I have to catch it, the White Marsh extension of it. And I understand that that's being removed, and that they're going to replace that access to White Marsh with the 33. I'm just really concerned because of doctor's appointments. White Marsh is a very integral part to a lot of people in this part of the MTA service area, and getting to doctor's appointments and what have you. So eliminating that White Marsh access is difficult. But if you're going to replace it with the 33, I'm just wondering, how do I find out more information about what the route times are going to be? Because I'm concerned that they're not going to be sufficient to get me where I need to go. Also, I had a question about, is there possibly possible discussion about increasing the frequency time of the 115, which is the express bus that goes up Bel Air Road, because if they don't, then it's going to cut off a significant amount of access to beyond Bel Air Road for people who live out this way. That's the end of my testimony.
Thank you for your testimony. I'll note we cannot answer any questions while a hearing is in process, but you can direct your questions to the transit information agents. They can be contacted at 410-539-5000.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. This concludes the individuals currently in the speaker queue. If there's anyone who has not spoken and would like to speak, please join the queue. If you're watching on YouTube, you can join the queue by calling 301-715-8592 and enter meeting ID 842-2207-7886. If you're on the phone and you'd like to provide testimony, you can press *9 to be added to the speaker's queue. If you're on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand function to join the queue. As a reminder, we ask that you state your name and zip code for the hearing record before you begin. The next speaker that I'll call on, I apologize, it's not a full name, but it's TSHU is the beginning of the name I'm seeing. You can now unmute your microphone.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, please provide your name and
Tracy Shuford, SHUFORD, zip code 21239. And I just wanted to talk about the yellow. It should I would like to ask that it be left as is, because it's you guys are saying that it's because of congestion. But it's even congestion on Utah as well, even more so. And especially between Marbury and Lombard, it's still going to be congestion there. And you also have to consider rider safety. Nobody wants to stand on Utah in a drug infested area where shootings are common. You know, our families want to see us arrive home safely from work and our destinations as well. And the ones that's making these decisions, they don't have to stand out on these corners and these unsavory areas. There are a lot of shootings and unsavory conduct down by Lexington Market. Everybody knows that. And along that whole corridor of Utah, it's much safer down by the police station, Gay and Falls Way. And there is no congestion once it gets on Falls Way. It goes straight up Falls Way and turns on Preston without a problem. So, and also it seems that some of these changes are intended to keep the unsavory element out of the more higher affluent areas, or making them difficult for some of these neighborhoods to get to the malls, Harbor East or the Inner Harbor area. But what you're doing in the process is that law-abiding and tax-paying citizens, you're making it difficult for us. And we out here, we work every day, you know, and it's just like, you're going to have to catch 2 or 3 buses now to get to Utah. You know, if you cut out the yellow from going that route that it's going now. For some of us, we have disabilities, you know, we have trouble with our health and walking. So walking is out of the question. So you're trying to say you're making it easier for riders, but you're not, you're making it more difficult. So you really need to reconsider this. And I just like to ask that you leave the yellow as is. And that's pretty much basically what I have one more thing. And the green connection, you're gonna lose the green connection. Where would the yellow connect with the green? Right now, you can get them on Preston Street. But if the yellow is not running through that area anymore, you're taking the lime and the yellow from that area of Preston, coming down on Charles and Biddle. And it's just going to really screw things up for a lot of us, you know, if you go through with this decision, because there's definitely not a green connection coming from the northeast part of the city, going towards Reservoir Hill.
Apologies, your time has expired, so I'll have to ask you to conclude your statement, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. This concludes the current list of individuals in the speaker queue. I'll note one more time, if there's anyone who has not spoken and would like to speak, you can join the speaker queue by either using the raise your hand function on Zoom, or if you're on the phone, press *9 to be added to the speaker queue. There is an additional speaker, Akira P. You can now unmute your microphone to provide testimony.
Good afternoon and hello. I am Akira Powell and I am a graduate. Oh, my zip code is 21133. Good afternoon and hello. I am Akira Powell and I am a graduate of both the Community College of Baltimore County and UMBC. I currently am on the staff here at CCBC as an administrative assistant to assisting students entering into and graduating out of our nursing programs. I catch the number 37 bus every day to commute from my home in Randallstown to my position here at the college and back. These proposed changes to the 37 bus route, changing the route to have some bus trips end at Walmart instead of UMBC, are going to be extremely inconvenient and possibly detrimental for me and others that use this particular bus to commute to these two campuses. Here are the reasons. Both colleges serve a large population of working class and low-income students seeking to improve their lives by enrolling in the various degree and non-degree programs that are offered. A large percentage of these students cannot afford cars, and Uber and Lyft are economically out of reach. This bus is the only financially feasible option to get them to these campuses for classes on time. We have a large percentage of students, particularly here at CCBC, that are classified as having a disability. Most of them do not, and in fact cannot drive. Eliminating or cutting back on a frequent, robust, regular, and reliable form of transit ending directly at the two campuses will, in all likelihood, force these students into the dilemma of having to drop out. This will be because they cannot get to campus for classes in a timely manner. Parking is always a headache and at a premium here at CCBC and UMBC. Both campuses are growing and adding programs, infrastructure, and buildings. This process is continuous and ongoing. Every building that goes up equals less space to park a vehicle. Cutting back in any way on this direct bus service to these campuses translates into more cars traveling to CCBC and UMBC. Every day cruising around competing for a place to park. At this time, both campuses are on summer break. Come late summer and early fall, the new freshmen will be arriving to campus to register for classes. The throng of returning students will also be coming back. Newly hired entry-level staff will also be showing up to start their new jobs. These are the people who will be most negatively impacted by these changes, and they have zero idea that this change is being considered. They won't find that out until the new semester begins, when they step out of their homes and head to the bus stop and wait for a bus that will not be taking them where they need to go. This is very much unfair. Please do not make this change. Keep the 37 bus route as it is currently. Every 37 bus beginning at the...
I need to ask you to conclude your statement because your time has expired.
Okay. Keep the 37 bus route as it currently is. Every 37 bus beginning at the Oakwood Metro Station and ending at CCBC and UMBC. Thank you very much for your time, your assistance and service to the citizens and transit patrons. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next speaker will be a name starting with QUI. You can now unmute your microphone to provide your testimony. Please remember to provide your zip code and your full name before you begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. I'm Quinlan Mitchell, zip code 21218. I am a daily transit rider, and the route that I use most often is the Silver Line. So just to note about that, I am surprised about the changes to the Silver Line called optimization, but that particular section where the Silver Line is detouring Light Street is an extremely popular area. Riding MDOT MTA is extremely exhausting because of the amount of walking involved at every stop, every single transfer. And this change will make it harder for many Silver Line riders to get from the bus stops where the detour is planned to the actual destinations on Light Street that many people want to go. In general, for these service changes, I don't think optimizing service can be about avoiding areas where riders actually want to go to somehow make it faster. Additionally, I just wanted to say I was disheartened overall by the changes to service proposed by MDOT MTA. There are a lot of cuts to the CityLink, all the color routes. Those are the most rational and easily accessible routes in the transportation network. If you don't know how to get somewhere, you can always go to Charles Center and find a color route that'll take you back out. They make more sense than the other lines, and they're also the late night buses. These changes in truncations, in particular to the yellow and the lime, significantly affect our ability to have a reliable network where we feel safe and like we're not going to be stranded. So I would strongly discourage MTA from making the changes to the yellow, changes to the lime, and I disagree with the changes to the silver that are called optimization. Thank you all for the work you do.
Thank you for your testimony. This concludes the list of individuals currently in the speaker queue. If there's anyone who has not spoken and would like to speak, please join the speaker queue. If you're on Zoom, you can do that by using the raise your hand function, or if you're calling in on the phone, you can press *9 to be added to the speaker's queue. At this time, there are no additional speakers in the queue.
This concludes the list of individuals who are currently in the speaker's queue. Let the record show it is now 11:31 a.m. and I hereby recess this hearing until someone wishes to testify or until 1 p.m. when we will adjourn. Let the record show it is now 11:48 a.m. I hereby recommence this hearing. Good morning. I'm Bianca Traham, MDOT MTA's information agent, serving as the hearing officer today. The purpose of this public hearing is to accept testimony pertaining to proposed service changes effective on Sunday, August 27th, 2023 to CityLink, Local Link, and Express Bus Link services. Before calling on speaker, I will repeat the hearing procedures for those who have recently joined. All attendees are in listening only mode. All those registered to provide testimony during this hearing will call on in the order each speaker entered the queue. We will call on speakers by first name and last initial, or by last 3 digits of the phone number provided on the registration form. Anyone who has not pre-registered and would like to give testimony still have the opportunity to join the speaker's queue. If you joined via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature. Another option is to call 301-715-8592 and enter meeting ID 821-758-9612. Then press *9 to be added to the speaker's queue. You will be asked to give your full name and zip code for the hearing record. Any individual may speak for themselves or, if duly authorized, for any local civil group, organization, club, or association, subject to the rules provided herein. If representing a group, its name and address should be provided. Elected officials who have not registered and wish to provide testimony, please use the raise hand feature. Each elected official will be called on first and will have 5 minutes to speak. Individuals providing testimony will have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone representing an organization will have 5 minutes to speak. A brief tone will sound once to make speakers aware when 60 seconds remain, and again when time has run out. All statements must be related to the subject matter as described in the proposed service changes. The role of the hearing officer is strictly to facilitate the hearing procedures. The hearing officer cannot respond to questions while the hearing is in progress. These proceedings are recorded by a court reporter who will create a transcript for the hearing. Please speak clearly to be recorded correctly. At this time, I will reintroduce the host of this virtual public hearing, Jennifer Koch, who will call on speakers.
Good afternoon. Good morning, pardon me. You will now begin to accept testimony. Those who have registered to speak will be called in the order they enter the speaker's queue. And once the speaker has been called on, their microphone will be unmuted. As a reminder, testimony is limited to 3 minutes per individual speaker and 5 minutes per elected official or anyone representing an organization. A brief tone will alert speakers when 60 seconds remains to speak. And at the end of each speaker's allotted time, they'll be advised to conclude their comments. At this time, if there's anyone who would like to provide testimony, please use the raise your hand function on Zoom or select *9 if you are on your phone to enter the speaker's queue. There's currently no individuals in the speaker's queue. If there's anyone who has not spoken and would like to speak, please join the speaker queue. You can do that again by calling 301-715-8592 and enter meeting ID 821-758-9612, and then press *9 to be added to the speaker's queue. You'll be asked to give your full name and zip code for the hearing record. This time, there are no individuals in the speakers queue.
This concludes the list of individuals who are currently in the speakers queue. Let the record show it is now 11:54 a.m. and I hereby recess this hearing until someone wishes to testify or until 1 p.m. when we will adjourn. Let the record show it is now 1 p.m. and this concludes this public hearing. Thank you to all who participated in this meeting. The comments you provided are valuable and will be considered when making final decisions. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.